Hi, James.
Hello, mate.
A call two or three ago, Irish chap, and he said a greater Israel. Now, I haven't thought about that for a very long time. But
Really?
because I've always expected there will be a two-state solution.
Yes.
But since this Hamas horrendous attack, it's proved that it can't happen. Now, the only way that you can have a one greater Israel is a sort of federal agreement whereby the West Bank, which was never Palestine, it was an Arab area which was controlled by...
Just to clarify one thing, I mean, the notion of Greater Israel is, I mean, it goes back to Theodore Herzl, doesn't it? I mean, it's been part of, and it's been cited by members of Netanyahu's government since both before and after October the 7th. But you just sort of zoned it out, had you?
Yeah, because I mean the whole thing is Netanyahu's government. There are a lot of right wingers, unfortunately.
Fascists.
And a lot of, I suppose you could call them that. But
one of them has been convicted of terror offences.
Yes,
So terrorists and fascists.
Yeah, there are. But you're dealing with an army of fascist Islamists called Hamas, and they're controlling 2 million people. And they are stealing from them, they're bombarding them, they're killing them.
But this was all true before October the 7th.
Yes. This is all
I don't know that bombarding is something that you can lay at the feet of Hamas in quite the same way you can lay it at the feet of Israel.
We know that they have killed their own people, making it out to be Israelis. But I mean, what I'm talking about is a greater Israel. I'm talking about a sort of federal state.
Right.
The Muslims would live in one area, and they'd be free to come into greater Israel. And the Jews...
What would the area they live in be called?
It's still Israel.
Right.
But you've got 2 million...
What if they
Arabs.
didn't want to?
Well, this is up to negotiation, I suppose.
Well, I'm just asking, negotiations aside, if a significant or even a tiny majority of the 2 million Palestinian people didn't want to live in a greater Israel, what would happen then?
Well, I suppose they called it a different name, but I mean, you could say Texas was Mexico. Texas now America.
Well, what if they didn't want to live under Israeli rule? Whatever you decided to call the territory.
Well, you can have a federal and where they have their own local government, but they have proved that they cannot have weapons.
Right. And can the rest of Israel have weapons? The rest of Greater Israel have weapons?
Greater Israel does not want weapons. They don't want to be the biggest power in the Middle East.
Not what I asked, is it?
No, but they don't. I cannot believe the great majority of the Israelis want that. They have got a great technology.
So they wouldn't be allowed weapons either?
So
you're describing a massive ghetto, I think.
No, I'm not.
What do you think you're describing then? Or apartheid then?
No way.
Well, it is, because you've got different laws. You've got different laws according to your religion or your ethnicity. You're Palestinian, you can't own weapons. You're Israeli, you can.
Well, they're not Palestinians. They never have been Palestinians.
What are they?
They're Arabs.
Okay, you're an Arab. That's even more. That's even closer to apartheid, isn't it? You're an Arab.
No, it's not.
You can't. Different laws for Arabs, then.
No.
Yes.
But you're talking about you've got in America. You've got federal states, and they have different laws.
Not for different. Not for different ethnicities.
No. But if you live in
so why are you mentioning America?
Because that's a federal.
But the states aren't determined by ethnicity. They're determined by land borders.
Well, you've got places like Arizona, which has got a lot of Indians in it, and they control their own areas in some respect. But I'm not saying that
they're not subject to American law.
No, they are subject to American law. Right. American law is just human rights and everything.
Okay. What if you were half Arab, half Israeli? Which laws would you have to obey?
You would obey the actual laws for the actual country.
Would you be allowed a weapon?
I don't. Hopefully, they'd say you wouldn't be able to carry weapons in the streets, like we're not allowed to carry them here.
Okay.
I mean, the government as a whole would.
And if the 2 million people currently living in the Gaza Strip, who you'll forgive me for referring to as Palestinians, didn't like your plan at all, what would we do then? Because I mean, spoiler alert, they wouldn't.
Well, if that happens, then we're stuck where we are now. I'm looking forward to somehow that they can live together.
Well, that would be a two-state solution.
That's what we've been aiming for 80 years. But
and the closest we ever got was when Yitzhak Rabin was Prime Minister of Israel, and you remember what happened to him.
I remember what happened to him.
Who killed him?
The Israelis do have lunatics as well.
Yeah. Who are now in the government.
There may be some in the government, not all of them.
But the solution is to ghettoise the Gaza Strip.
No, it's not ghettoising. It's a matter of letting him have...
so sorry, carry on. It's a matter of what?
It's a matter of having human rights, being able to live together. So you can have Jews living,
but with different rights. The rights are determined by ethnicity, not by humanity. You've already said that.
So that the Muslims can do whatever they like religiously, as they are allowed to do in Israel. But the only thing I'm holding back on is that the individuals shouldn't be allowed to carry weapons.
Okay.
And that would be the same for the Israelis too.
Okay. And we'll just, I mean, the question of what happens if the Palestinian people who want their own country object to your proposal is tough, really.
They had a country.
It's tough.
No, excuse me. They've never had a country. When Israel became independent in 1948,
yes.
The area of the West Bank was... the area was split in the first place. The mandate was for a Jewish state of Israel, but the Arabs...
Well, there's the problem, isn't it?
The Arabs...
Excuse me.
Okay, but the Arabs never said they wanted a country called Palestine. The Arabs just wanted... They wanted the whole lot. And that's what they've said probably 5 times.
Like a sort of greater Israel, but for Arabs.
No, you've got 22 Arab countries there at the moment.
No, but when you said they wanted the whole lot, in territorial terms, you mean like what you call a greater Israel, but for Arabs?
Probably, but okay. It would have been an Islamic fascist state.
Would it?
Well, look, have you got any Arab state today which is democratic?
I don't know. What's that got to do with the price of tea?
Oh, no, be serious, James. I mean, honestly.
I am being serious.
Israel is the only democratic country there. Unfortunately, they have to live by the gun because they're being threatened by Iran and Hamas and the other people.
So when in the passage of time since the awful events of October the 7th, when did the prospect of a greater Israel pop into your mind for the first time ever, or the first time in decades, Stuart?
When your friend was just talking a few calls ago.
Okay.
I think, honestly,
it's a thought, isn't it? And I mean, until we ask the question of how the people you're talking about would feel about it, I suppose we could certainly continue to consider it.